Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I'm going to try to jump straight into it today. We're going to be talking about how I learned to be productive and consistent. I have a lot to yap about when it comes to this subject, so I'm just going to jump straight in. I'm going to give you guys my 5 tips that I have to become more productive and more consistently productive. Number 1, using Google Calendar. I am not kidding when I say that this changed my life. I started using Google Calendar, I want to say about 3 years ago, and honestly, I have no idea how I kept track of my life before I started using it. This is the only reason that I make it to my appointments, that I know when my school assignments are due, that I know when I work, and I never miss anything because I check my calendar every single day, at least twice a day, but usually throughout the whole day. So this is the secret. You're going to download Google Calendar on your phone, but you can also use it on your laptop. I use it on both, and every single time that you make a plan or that you know you have to show up for something, you're going to put it into your calendar immediately. I mean in that second, because if you don't and you forget, it's a 50-50 chance if you're going to remember in the future. As soon as I make a plan with my friend, as soon as I get my work schedule, as soon as I book an appointment, I put it straight into my calendar, and that way I know that it's there and I know that I'm going to remember it because I'm going to see it at least the day of. You're also going to want to make Google Calendar a widget on your phone. I have it on my home screen as a little widget that tells me whatever's coming up that day, and also on a widget in my actual pages in my phone where my apps are, because it's a little bigger and it tells you a couple more things. That way it is constantly in your peripheral every time you're on your phone. It's really hard to miss something. I would also check your calendar right before you go to bed every single day so you know what's coming up the next day. What's really cool about Google Calendar, this is not sponsored by the way, is you can make all these little categories. So I have my payments in green, for example. I have my appointments in bright yellow. I have events in pink, and so on. I have tons of categories, so my calendar looks crazy, but you do not have to make it look this crazy. The other thing that is really helpful though is if you do end up feeling overwhelmed, you can turn the calendars off and on so that you can just look at one thing. Like if you're just wanting to look for appointments, you can turn everything off and just look at your appointments. That is really helpful. Just remember to turn all your calendars back on so you don't miss anything. Number 2, I want you to encompass the phrase discipline over motivation. When I heard about this and I made the mindset shift, everything changed. I was, as I'm sure a lot of us out there are, a chronic procrastinator. If I didn't feel like doing something, I would make up any excuse to push it off until later, and that made me end up doing everything last minute. I eventually came to the realization that procrastinating is not actually as satisfying as we think it is when we're actually making the decision to procrastinate. We think, oh, we're tired, we want to keep watching this show, we want to relax, we can do that tomorrow. But in reality, you're just sitting there watching your show and letting stress build up in your body because you know in the back of your mind that you should be doing something else. So all those hours that you spend watching TV, laying in bed, doom scrolling on social media, you're not actually relaxing. You are still putting in mental energy into what you're supposed to be doing and just not actually doing it. You're shooting yourself in the foot basically, when it is so much easier to just do the thing and then be able to actually relax and do the things that you want to do with no stress, nothing looming over in the back of your mind, weight off your shoulders. You guys get what I mean. Obviously, this is easier said than done. It is a practice. So first, you're going to have to decide how badly you want to do the things that you want to do. So if what you're procrastinating is school, how badly do you want your degree and do you want to graduate? If you're procrastinating making content, if you're a content creator, how badly do you want to be monetized? How badly do you want this to be your full-time career? If the answer is you really, really want it, then let me tell you, you have to make this mindset shift or it's not going to happen. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the truth, and it is something that took me years and years and years and years to realize, and much less to fix and put into practice. This is how I started, and something that I think will help if you want to make this mindset shift. Every time that I felt like I didn't want to do something, I would ask myself in my head, I know you don't want to do this thing, but could you? do this thing? If you really wanted to, if you chose to do it right now, could you? Could you get up and do it even if you hated it, even if you cried inside? Could you do it? Could you get up right now? 99% of the time, the answer is going to be yes. And it is up to you to hold yourself accountable and to do it once you realize that you can do it. You just don't want to. It's a conscious decision to get out of your comfort zone and pretty much push yourself to do something that you don't feel like doing. But I promise you, you will feel so much better after you do. If you start asking yourself this question every single time that you are putting something off, you are going to end up actually doing the things that you want to do every time. Because at the end of the day, usually there is not a valid excuse. It's simply a lack of motivation and the fact that you don't feel like it. And if you really, really want to get everything that you want to get out of life, you're going to have to be willing to put away the excuses and hold yourself accountable and actually make it happen. And let me tell you, when you start doing everything that you don't want to do, you end up wanting to do it. Let me explain. A lot of the time we procrastinate things because we don't have the energy, we're tired, we don't believe in ourselves, we don't think we can do it, at least not do a good job at it because our heart's not in it. And that's true. For example, if you don't believe that you actually have it in you to go to the gym and get abs, you're not going to do it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to do what it takes to get there. It's over before it even starts. But this is why discipline is kind of a fake it until you make it kind of game that you play with yourself. If you just start doing things, even if you don't believe in yourself, and you start seeing the progress, for example, going to the gym, even if you don't feel like it, and then you start realizing that you're getting a little bit more toned, all of a sudden you start to believe that maybe you can do this. And then you keep doing it because you're so excited because you have now seen the proof that your work gets you results. So if you keep faking it till you make it, getting up, making that video, going to the gym, etc., and you start seeing that change, your mindset is automatically going to shift. And guess what? That's when motivation sets in. You see the results of your actions and you start getting motivated because you're like, oh my God, if I could get a little bit toned, I could definitely get abs by the end of the year, for example. I don't know how exercise works. I don't know if it's faster than that, sorry. All of a sudden, you have tricked your brain into being motivated, into believing in yourself, into actually following through with your goals. And once you believe in yourself, nothing can stop you. Okay, enough about that. Number 3, being intentional with your downtime. This one is really important, okay? Because the last one seemed a little bit harsh, a little bit tough love, a little bit, hey, won't that lead to burnout? Hey, shouldn't I not push myself to do something I don't want to do? That doesn't sound healthy. That doesn't sound nice. But the truth is, as long as you balance it out, as long as you give yourself downtime and self-care and unproductive time, then the last thing I said isn't unhealthy. It is just holding yourself accountable, pushing yourself, going out of your comfort zone, and actually making the changes in your life that you want to make. So make sure that this tip, being intentional with your downtime, is something you're doing as well to stay balanced, to stay healthy, and to be kind to yourself, because you also don't want to become a workaholic. You don't want to become addicted to being productive. You need to relax, you need your downtime, you need to socialize, you need to turn your brain off sometimes. It's very important for your mental health and for your physical health, because when you're go, go, go all the time, it does build up stress in your body, and stress weakens your immune system, you get sick, you become unhealthy, etc., etc. So this does not mean procrastinating, right? This doesn't mean laying down and watching TV all day. This means intentional, carved out time in your schedule to worry about nothing other than relaxation or joy. If you're an extrovert, this could mean going out with your friends one night and not thinking about work, not thinking about exercise, not thinking about writing your novel, not thinking about school, just going out and having fun, because you deserve it, especially if you're doing the things that you don't want to do and you're rewarding yourself with these things, right? If you're more introverted and what you really need to recharge is to read a book for a couple hours, or take a nice bubble bath, or watch a movie with your mom, whatever it is, allow yourself that time and space to do those things without worrying about anything else. When you very intentionally do these things and do not allow yourself to think about anything else, that is when you're having true relaxation, true recharge time. And once you're done with those activities, you're usually really motivated to get back into your productivity, versus when you're not fully intentional about it and you're just multitasking and letting your your mind be crowded with the things that you're worried about. It's not actual relaxation, and you never actually recharge, and you're never ready to be productive again because you're still tired because you never really stopped working. You just started doing it mentally while physically relaxing. Be intentional with everything you do. When you're working, really focus on working. When you're relaxing, really let yourself relax. When you're socializing, really let yourself be present in that moment with your friends or your family or whoever it is. Okay, moving on. Number 4, get your priorities straight. This is really important when it comes to productivity because if you don't know which duties you care about more than others and you kind of let it flip and wishy-washy, just kind of do whatever you want whenever you feel like it and kind of get confused and wonder what you should be working on, it gets really hard to actually get something done and to not accidentally avoid important things by doing less important things, getting overwhelmed and then not doing anything at all. I'm sure we've all experienced this where you have so many things to do. You have to clean your room and you have to do homework and you have to wrap your Christmas gifts and you have to etc. And you get so overwhelmed with everything that you have to do and not being able to decide what to focus on that you end up not doing anything at all. You lie down, you're exhausted mentally, you don't feel like doing anything because it's just too much. That is a recipe for chronically never getting anything done and not checking off anything from your list. And what does that lead to? Less motivation. And what does less motivation lead to? Not believing in yourself. It's all a cycle. So what you need to do is in your entire life, you need to decide what your priorities are. For example, for me, number 1 would be school. Number 2 would be content creation. Number 3 would be other things like socializing, building community, reading, basically all of my resolutions for this year that had to do with hobbies and stuff like that, or even like writing my books, right? Now, you get to decide what is the most important for you. And you have to be realistic about this, right? Because obviously, school is the least fun out of those 3 things. It's the one I care the least about in terms of how much fun I have doing it and how much I want to do it. But it's the most important for me because I need to be going to school and I need to graduate in order to jumpstart my career in journalism, in order to move out of my house, in order to gain the confidence as a writer, a storyteller, to actually start publishing my own stories. So even though it's not the one I like the most, it is the most important. So it is really important for you to be honest with yourself about what is most important. It's not what you want to do most. It's not what you enjoy most. It's what you need the most, right? Number 2 would be content creation, which again, I love content creating, but it's a lot of work and it can be stressful a lot of the time because you doubt yourself, especially with YouTube. Like, it takes a long time to see the fruits of your labor. I may spend 10 hours working on a video, planning it, filming it, editing it, putting it out, and then getting 50 views and 3 likes. And it's very discouraging, right? It's very discouraging to put so much time and effort into something and not see a lot of return. So obviously my 3rd tier, hobbies, socializing, reading, that kind of stuff, is the most fun. And that's also good for me. It's good for my health, for my mental health, for learning, for all sorts of things. But I still put content creation above it because content creation is what's going to allow me to be financially free once I get monetized. It's what's going to allow me to have more time to do things that make me happy, like socializing, reading, hobbies. Right now, socializing, reading, and hobbies are things that I can only do very sparingly in my week when I actually have spare time. But I'm so stressed constantly because of money, typical. I think everyone's struggling right now with money. Whereas once I get content creation up and running and it is paying for me, I can work less, like my traditional job. I can work less and have more time to do these things that make me happy. And in turn, that will keep me more motivated, more excited about life, and more able to create content, right? I hope you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. It's not about what you want, it's about what you need. In the long term, what's going to help you? Because if I prioritize content creation now, eventually I can raise this bottom category all the way up because I'll actually have the time and money and motivation to spend on those things. Now, once you've gotten your priorities straight, then you know the order of operations when it comes to what you should be working on. At any given moment, if I am able to work on my school, get my homework done, I'm going to do that before I do the other things on my list. Unless I truly, truly need a break from school, like if I want to just take a little while to edit my video video or to read, that's fine. But in general, when it's productive time, having your list of priorities is really helpful because as soon as you get done with your homework, phew, you have your most important task done. Then you can fully focus your energy on content creating. And once your video is done, you can fully focus on reading or going out with your friends without thinking about all the other stuff that you have to do, without being stressed. Okay, last but not least, I saved this for the end because it is actually my most helpful tip. Well, these are all pretty helpful, but this is what actually jump started my whole productivity consistency journey. This is what really helped me kind of just get into the habit and really improve my life in this area. But it is not something I've heard anyone else do, and it's something I just kind of came up with myself. So I just want to say this worked for me. I'm not sure if it is the smartest thing to do or if it'll work for everyone, but this is literally what started it all for me. When I decided I needed to stop procrastinating and change my life, I decided every single day, no matter what, I was going to do 3 productive things. It didn't matter what these 3 things were. This is before I got my priorities straight. This is before I kind of became more organized about what I wanted to do with my life and what I needed to be productive about. I just needed to start doing something because I felt like I was just stuck in a hole and not moving and not going anywhere. And it was all because of my laziness and my procrastination and my lack of motivation. So this really goes into the discipline part of it. Every single day, I had to do 3 productive things. It didn't matter what they were, I just had to do them because I figured if I'm doing 3 things every single day, there's no way that I won't be moving forward, even if it's slow. So this could be anything productive. This could mean going to work. That was productive for me because I was making money and I needed money. This could mean doing my laundry. That's productive for me because your environment directly affects how you feel. So if my room was messy, it made me less motivated to do other things that I needed to do. If I had a pile of clothes on my couch, like this couch right here that I'm sitting on, it used to be full of clothes, I kid you not, every single day for like a year. Now it almost never is because I've gotten into the habit of putting away my clothes. But that was one thing. Cleaning my room, exercising. I even included doing something that's good for my mental health as a productive thing because like we talked about before, sitting around watching TV, if it's not intentional, is still not good for you. You're still not relaxing because your mind is everywhere and you're stressed. So having intentional reading time or intentional creativity time, like drawing, I counted that as a productive thing because it was good for you and it helped make it easier when you did the other productive stuff. So on my work days, it could be I went to work, I filmed a video, and I did my laundry. Done. If I didn't work, it could be I cleaned my room, I read for half an hour, and I did my school project. Done. Once I got into the habit of doing this, it made me want to do more. This is the thing. When you actually start getting stuff done, you feel proud of yourself. You feel happy. You get motivated to do more. Because once you're in the groove of it, once you already started doing a thing, you want to keep going. I have that happen to me a lot when it comes to making videos for you guys for YouTube. It used to take me weeks to want to start editing a video. Like I'd start and then I'd reach a point where I put it away and then I wouldn't touch it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But the day that I decided to pull it back up again, all it would take would be 10 minutes of editing to get in the zone. And all of a sudden, I want to edit for 3 hours and I finish my video and I upload it. And I could have done that weeks ago, but I didn't because the hardest part is just starting. So, all of these tips kind of are a lesson in just doing it. Because once you get past that initial hump of just starting, it all becomes a lot easier, I promise. Obviously, when it comes to this last tip of doing 3 productive things every day, you know yourself the most. I didn't give myself break days because honestly, a lot of the days my 3 productive things would be kind of easy anyway. Like if it was just putting up my clothes, reading for half an hour, and turning in a very easy assignment, for example, that didn't take a whole lot of energy from me. So it didn't feel like I did a lot that day. So that was kind of like my break day. But if you know yourself and you know that you need a break or you're going to get burnt out or even more unmotivated, go ahead and give yourself a break day. I wouldn't say more than 2 days. They don't have to be big. big, they don't have to be long. Just get in the habit of doing things, even when you don't want to. And I promise you, if you do all of these things, it will get so much easier so fast. When I started doing these things, all it took was like a month or two to get in the habit, and my life was changed. I'm not joking. What is it, like 27 days to form a habit or something like that? Maybe those 27 days are all that's standing between you and fulfilling all your dreams. And I want that for you. I want that for everybody. We all deserve to get everything that we want out of life and to be happy. Sometimes we are the only thing standing in our own way. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that any of these tips were helpful for you and that you put them into practice. Please comment below anything that you think about what I mentioned, if you're going to start using any of these tips, and keep me updated. I want to know if any of this works for you. That is all I have for you guys today. Make sure you follow me on all my socials. I'm Van Lively pretty much everywhere. And I really want to connect with you guys and build this community together. Thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.